Good morning and welcome to another episode of Politics and Power on TSLNigeria TV. I'm your regular host, Fares Akbari. Today we're having two exciting guests to look at the issues surrounding the Asuu strike, which has been ongoing for over 120 days now. And to do justice to this topic today are my brothers, Comrade Osama Barrio.
Yeah, thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Comrade Osama is a politician, he's a civil society activist, and he's a well-rooted and grassrooted politician in those states. It's good to see you, Sam.
Thank you so much. Same here. Thank you so much.
We're almost wearing something, we're very similar colors.
Yeah, I have to follow your footsteps as my leader. Thank you so much.
We also have Comrade Imafidon Stephen. Comrade Imafidon Stephen is the Deputy Senate President of NAS, Edo State. Good to see you, sir.
Thank you very much, sir. Good morning, sir. My leader.
I think there's a popular saying with NAS. How do they say the popular chant?
Okay, we have different chants.
There's one, but I can't really.
You can say Aluta Continua.
Aluta Continua. Good to see you. Welcome.
Thank you very much, sir.
So, we'll be starting from you, my brother. Asuu has been on strike since February of this year, and we're in September right now. And maybe in 2 days it will be about 7 months of strike. This is one of the longest strikes we've seen in recent history. Do you think that the government and Asuu that they've managed the situation properly?
Yeah, thank you so much. I think my heart bleeds when we discuss issues of such in a supposed sane society. I think we also suffered same fate. I think we suffered it twice. One was closure of the school by the then governor of Community, and the second one was also an Asuu strike. Like that took some of us a course we were supposed to read for 5 years. Now we're in school for close to 8 years. So seeing this one again still happening after close to over 2 decades ago is painful. My heart bleeds because it goes to show that the decay in the educational sector has eaten deep to the extent that the future of the present generations of Nigeria is now very bleak. Because you can see now that the Asuu strike has metamorphosed into some other issues. One few days ago, not up to a week, I'm sure it was on social media, even on the news, where a lecturer committed suicide. Though it was not something he was supposed to do, but I think for some people that was not also, let's say, sociable, or what will I use, as in taking to suicide. I don't commend that, but it goes to show that the man, the only hope he had, which is the government and where he works, there was no hope any longer. And school commencing today, the man was already regretting to say he cannot face the kids any longer for hunger and also commencing school fees and co. And the option which he thought foolishly was to commit suicide. And it goes to show that the government, it's also a failure in the government sector, because in a sane society, education is not just what is supposed to be a paramount important to a sane government to say that. I think in Finland, Iceland, education is not just free, but it's also compulsory. Not just also compulsory, but it's also very, very, very okay that even the child of the president might be sitting next to seat with the child of maybe a gatesman to the presidential office. So you can see that the future of that country lies in the hands of the next generation, because everything is in power. But where we are presently here today, I'm not sure that except maybe you steal money from the government or there are some illegal things you are doing, there is no way a civil servant that does his job diligently can take his or her kids to a private school. The truth must be told. So it still boils down, we going back to the government school, which the government school has strike as one of their curriculum. If after about 2-3 years, strike must come. It's what you must go through. So, and if now a child now that doesn't even understand strike, and a child that twice parents started school same day, your father being a bourgeois took you to maybe one of the best private schools in Benin. Then my father, a common farmer, took me to a government school. And in a jiffy, you are out of school. You started work. Me, I'm still in that same school, struggling. Then tell me, will I be happy with the system, even with you? Because I already see that we started at the same place, but the government pulled me back to say, no, you cannot graduate with finance. No, you are not of the same class. And we are supposed to be of the same class.
Okay, we'll come back to you on that one. I think that you're anchoring on a very strong point there. My brother, you are one of the leaders of the student union in your own institution and all of that, and you've been actively involved in activism in the school. Do you think that with the way Asuu is currently constituted, that there will be a time where we won't be seeing this kind of deadlock strike and all of it? Is there ever a time that we won't have it anymore in our educational system?
Thank you very much. I want to quickly acknowledge and appreciate the depositions of my very senior leader, Mr. Asuu. I believe he has already laid the foundation for this particular topic. Going back to your question, sir, I believe, like what I always tell my friends, the very fundamental errors Asuu made, and they want to continue to make those kind of errors, was embarking on the strike in this very administration. I believe successive government has promised different things to the Asuu, and they've not been able to. I want to quickly reference the government of Dr. Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. I believe that was specifically, that was 2009 agreement. And as intelligent as Dr. Ebele Goodluck Jonathan, he was unable to meet up with Asuu demands. That is to say, Asuu went on this strike on a very wrong time. I want to also advise Asuu, because they are protecting their members. And we, the student union leaders, we also protect our leaders. Our focal point is for us to go back to campus, as the case will be. But they must put into cognizance that when voting for elected officers, we must have their blueprint. And that's one of that error that the Asuu always made, as the case will be. As we have now, we have 3 major political parties. Nobody has bothered to ask them what is their blueprint for education. As closer as not too rich as Sierra Leone, they budget 24% of their budget on education, while Nigeria is still struggling with 6.something, 7.something percent education. These are issues that call for greater concerns. As you need to be very, very calculative, because as we all know, it's not a norm for Nigerian students that strike is not part of our curriculum. Not hidden curriculum anymore. It's not part of our academic curriculum. According to what my leader said, that at every point in time, strike must emerge, and the student is at the receiving end of this particular menace at the case. Asuu must be calculative and be very, very proactive in their dealings. We must get to the root. What is the root of this whole issue with Asuu? It's bad government. A government that does not take education serious, that government is not ready to do anything meaningful, as the case may be. We must begin to check from the very onset. Who are these people coming to campaign to us? What is their educational blueprint? What is their promises? We always have vague statements, promises that are not well documented, as the case may be. What are we talking about? We must begin to check our politicians and hold them to ransom. This will go a long way to end this Asuu strike.
I'll get back to you. Comrade Son, some senior politicians in the country, particularly in the Senate and the House of Reps, are pushing recently for a ban on foreign medical trips. But many of these people who were pushing for a ban on foreign medical trips were having their kids abroad, studying abroad. So you have, like you rightly said, you have a course let's say somebody who's studying civil engineering, for example.
That's my field.
Okay.
That's what I studied.
You might have to
I did 8 years. I used 8 years to
It's a
study.
5 years course here. And if you go to a place like in the UK, it's a 5 years or 4 years course. You go to places in America, it's a 4 or 5 years course. But the difference is that it is done in the stipulated time there. You graduate and then you start working. Whereas here, because of the strikes and everything, you are forced to spend extra years in school. Some people will be forced to now miss the service, which is not their fault because of the Asuu strikes and all of that. And these people who are agitating for a ban on foreign medical trips, they are not saying anything because all of their kids are across studying. So are you of the opinion that there should be a ban on politicians sending their kids to study abroad, particularly those in Nigeria?
I will, but it will not fly. Because the reason is because if we protest from now till next tomorrow, the people that are going to put it into writing and document it are the people that they don't feel the pain that we feel. The environment they stay is so conducive that what you are saying, it's laughable to them because they will look at you as in, they see Nigeria as a dumping site. Because the person telling you will have malaria and in a jiffy will tell you he's going for a conference to go treat malaria. The person will also use projects and build a very beautiful hospital, but he will not lie down in that hospital. He will prefer to lie down in an hospital that was built in a sane society and get medical checkup and come back to Nigeria. Same with school. They will build school with government funds, but their kids, their grandchildren, everybody study overseas. So they will laughable to them. I think 2 or 3 months ago, one of your representatives from the Central, Edo Central, proposed a bill that public servants, politicians, should have their kids in government school. And before you could say Jack Robinson, the core members were laughing at him. They were mocking him as in, what is this one saying? Are you in this country? We should take our kids to which school? So are you getting that? And it was thrown away without consideration. In a state society, beings like that, people like that are supposed, I think Sergius became my friend when I saw him. Because to me, that is if that is just what Buhari was able to do for 8 years, to say from now henceforth, my son, Buhari, and my daughter, Zara, Abuja, let's see them. Because if the president goes to work in the morning and come back in the evening, and the children are on strike, I know that he was supposed to put pen and paper for these people to be in school, he will feel the pain. But he does not feel the pain, he does not even know what is happening because the kids are not here. But my father that has about 8 children in school, that after hustling, selling everything, to say, okay, these children go to school. He has paid for their accommodation in school, giving them school fees, and go. On the next thing, these kids are back again. For about 7 months, he keeps feeding them, clothing them. Maybe one falling sick, they are going to be okay. So you can see that the mother was supposed to live about 120 years. You've cut off about 40 years away from his life because you have given him stress. And these people too don't pass through stress. So to me, it's laughable. I don't see it working, but it's a good and welcome idea. But our leaders will never allow it to work because they know it's going to give them stress. They don't want stress. So their kids are not with them. They go to visit their kids. If the Minister of Education can leave Nigeria and visit UK to he goes to tell you that he doesn't even know that there's school here. If the Minister of Education can sit down having a meeting with the student union government and they were talking, and after they finished talking, he said, after talking outside, they walked out on them. So if it was the math child, my child was signing now, talking to me in the morning to say, Daddy, they said I should bring, and I walk out on him. There's no way I'll have peace on that day. I get it now. But because it's not just look at them to say, what's going on this one? I mean, are you even sure these people are your students? That's why it worked out. In this same society, somebody like you is supposed to resign. Because you don't even know what the people you are supposed to control are here complaining and you are working on. So it goes to show when you have failure in leadership, from the head, when the head is gone, when the man is mentally not balanced, the hands, the legs can't work well. The entire system is dead. So it goes again. I want to quickly toe the line of my very brilliant brother here, Steve, that now election is close by. So close. If we don't leave it on time, by the time we come out, they're going to tell you 2003 election is all over. It's close by. Campaign has started. Our youths that are at home now on this strike, go to their social media page. If you go, you see that they don't even know what they are doing or saying. Just try it. They are on strike now. Someone like me now, I think it should be my children that are. So not me again, because I laugh when I see them. They don't even know what to ask people that they are supposed to put their hand for vote for. That is one. Secondly, they don't even know that this was also the time God has also now divided to say you are at home now. It is better now for you to mobilize. Well, they are going to call them off maybe by January or February. They go to school. That's just, it's a faith system. They already know that. They know how to cajole all these people. Then look at the people now committing suicide, the lecturers. Those are the people that write and document results. I think you are a politician. You know what it takes. Those lecturers, you hear when they come in the morning, they visit the bourgeoisie owners of the parties. And sometimes you hear this one giving this for them to change 100 to 100,000. For them to change 10,000 to 1 million. You are changing it. Tomorrow you go on strike. On what you on your own did with your own pen and paper to collect money. So who is fooling? You can see that the entire system, both the students that are on strike that don't know that this is the time to get it right. To hey, let me now be at home now to start attending political meetings. You cannot do it. Politics is not played on social media. You must go back. You must convince your boyfriend or girlfriend. You must convince everybody you know to say, if you want me to complete school on time, or if you want my children not to suffer the same fate, join me. Let's move. Let's continue. Let's change this narrative. Let's participate. You must not do it. Yeah, politics is not all about what you think what you kiss. See, I forgot now. You must participate. If you don't participate now, now you don't have excuse to say you are in school. You are at home. So give politics your time, because without politics you can't change this ball game.
Okay, thank you. We'll get back to you. Comrade Steven, recently I saw on social media a female student, who posted a before picture of her in February when Asuu went on strike, and she posted a recent picture of her. She was now heavily pregnant, and she wrote that it was because of the Asuu strike. And we've seen even the governor of Edo State was out sometime to talk about the fact that a lot of students have gone into the use of drugs, have increased because they are now returned that at home. So what would you say is the damage? What would you categorize as the damage from the fallout of this Asuu strike?
Thank you very much. I believe the neglect in our educational system is an instrument of the government to oppress Nigerian youth education. I believe, our oppressors have different mechanisms, different techniques they use to oppress Nigerian citizens. I believe the Nigerian students, youth, have been a major victim of these techniques. And one of their major techniques is their inability to fund education and meet up with lecturers' demands, hereby making Nigerian youth and students to be redundant, so many can resort to not having that required knowledge and intelligence to face them and to ask them sensitive questions. I believe virtually all, when we use comparative analysis, virtually all countries in Africa, apart from Somalia and South Sudan, that Nigeria can comfortably say we are above in terms of educational funding. All other countries in Africa are far better than Nigeria in terms of funding as the case. What are the excuses? I believe there's not enough excuse that the government can use to defend their inability to meet up with educational demands as the case may be. When you check in a whole, you begin to realize that our government know what they are doing. And the ability for we to rise up and begin to engage them front and back will save this country from this total collapse as the case may be. Like what the question you raise, sir, it is an instrument of oppression from the agents of the government. They know what they are doing. They are systematic planners. They project. They do a lot of things. But they fail to realize that this particular generation want to begin to follow, they want to begin to carry on of their techniques and their ways. And we are gradually following them up. I believe it's not a yardstick for students, for you to begin to toe the line of self-help or begin to resort to social vices at the case. We must push against it. But that does not mean the effect is not present. It's not on us. The effect is on us. But we must rise up and wake up to the responsibility and face this government head on. That is why we are calling on them. Some persons say they are coming to at 23. What are your blueprints for education? What are your plans for education? How many percentage are you giving to education as the case may be? Let them come with their fake propagandas. Let them come with their fallacies. We are ready to analyze, to decimate, and begin to see who Nigerian students and youth will virtually rise up and stand with at the case may be. The effect are there, sir. I believe we must invite all youth to stand up and begin to dust every stress that these persons has put us through. Well, I believe with time we'll overcome it and we're going to face them. This generation, we are head on. If our fathers has failed 80s, 70s, 60s, this particular generation of ours will not fail, will rise up. I believe there was a signal that was sent earlier. The EndSARS signal was a very perfect signal. And they know, they understand. I believe one of the major reasons why they don't want to answer us, according to my very respected leader here, is to ensure how to keep us, and at the end of the day, they will not bring resources from emergency empowerment program to further pacify the youth. And we are not ready for that. We are very, very focused, and we're going to struggle until we meet our demands at the case may be.
Thank you. Comrade Saham, let's look at the issue that he raised just now, which is the issue of the EndSARS. We all witnessed the country almost in flames in October and September of 2020. I think it's about 2 years now. And so young people in Nigeria were tired of bad governance, they were tired of police brutality and all of that. Do you think that the EndSARS movement as at that time was a failure on the part of young Nigerians who could have taken it a bit further to really push for institutional change in our governance system in Nigeria, in our political system, and our educational system, and also with the issue of the police and all of it?
Yeah, I also want to answer one question you asked my handsome brother here about the positive or negative issue, how a student is now pregnant because of the EndSARS. I think you also saw a girl that started a fish farm on the internet.
Yes.
Yeah, and she has grown up. Yeah. So there was also some positive side,
Okay.
and not just the pregnancy side.
Okay.
And also, pregnancy is not just something I call negative, because she might not have had it again. So she has had it now, glory. So it's not a positive angle. The positive angle is those ones that went on drugs.
Okay.
Those ones was not bad. But for pregnancy, a student is not, she's not a kid.
No, a student who is supposed to be in school,
Yeah.
a young girl who
Is not pregnant.
is now
But you're not a part of educational system, yeah.
It's now
Yeah,
the
yeah.
time she should be used to study.
Yeah.
She's now going to be a
Yeah,
mother.
yeah.
I don't think that's
Pregnancy is part of education.
Okay.
But she will now also lecture when she goes back to school now with her baby. She will lecture those that are yet to give birth to say this is how it's been done. So that's it. Then before coming to the EndSARS issue, the EndSARS issue to me it was something that started on a positive light.
Okay.
Yes, and our leaders saw that this was the first time the youth came together to say we are going to do this thing. Then you saw all colors coming together, all religions coming together, all political affiliation coming together, all everybody coming together to sing one same song.
Exactly.
Before you see Moki don't see you, our leaders saw it, they were mute, they kept quiet. They knew that it was going to spoil because they knew that the youth, just give them time, they will be fagged that soon. So they selected one or two few people and took them to Abuja. And those people came back to tell you, no. And before those people that were in the forefront on the blackout day, they were no longer there. I get what I'm trying to say. On the blackout day, on the day, the 2022 something, they were no longer there. Those people that made sure our people stayed because they saw it, the leaders of this country, of the failed leaders of the failed nation, would just give them one or two threats and they left. I think what would have gotten there was if we had not just say EndSARS issue. We came out with an EndSARS issue. But after this, we would have started moving from one sector to other. If that was also the educational issue. I get it now. And what did the government do? The next thing was to say SARS, SWAT. And they came out, the same police, the same structure, with another name. SWAT. Go back now, the same people, the same oppression is still ongoing. Nothing changed and nothing stopped.
Police.
Yeah. But if we are doing it to say, since these students are at home, let's just say it's not EndSARS. End Asuu strike. End Asuu strike. As in end Asuu strike. So that let us see what the government will not change it to. Let us see if they are not going to say, okay, no, from now we are not going to be seeing Asuu again. We are going to be seeing Mesu. Let's just, so that we don't know, end Asuu strike. We don't want to Asuu. So what may the best advice I want for the youth is that whatever they want to really do, they should make sure, because it's one thing to start a fight, it's another thing to finish a fight. Starting a fight is the most easiest thing. You can just stand up and slap somebody and the fight starts. But the person you slap, by the time the person retaliates and start giving you some punches, can you also now absorb it? So the government of the day has so much resources in that they've looked at. Okay, we're talking about how much was Asuu even asking, or is Asuu asking? I'm sure you are aware that America just returned one of the richest ancestors we've ever had in government, Abacha's loot, a few months ago. And I'm sure that loot, as we speak today, you won't hear about it again. It was because America is a same country. They are bringing this money. That's why you heard of it. If it was somewhere that was maybe not also good, you would not also hear about it. If the government of the day decided to say, okay, this money that we weren't even expecting.
Let's put it to Asuu.
The Asuu, take this, go and say no more. I'm sure people would have applauded them. But now what do you do? No need to do this. So we need more money on election day. I'm also aware that you saw two beautiful girls, beautiful in the face, but very dull in the brain, that were doing video of how they collected money on election day in either Asuu or Ekiti election. Ekiti election. They collected about 10,000. They were counting it. That I'm sure the data she uses, it is a very sociable person. That was money for data. And that was the 1 month, so that data is finished. She has chosen a bad government for under 4 years. And she was laughing at her own self, at her own detriment. She was smoking. She did it. Others did it that don't even have video to show. This same youth that they will queue up on the election field. And the first thing they ask is who they share money. They don't ask any other question. Once they come is, if I don't come, come now. This is, how much are they share today? I say, will they share 3,000? No, now, if that guy, 5,000 they share. Nobody's asking you now, who is going to end Asuu? Who is going to tar this road? Who is going to give us light?
What you are saying is, it's look like you're not sharing money on election day.
No, if you deny things that you do, it goes to show that, like, how will I deny what is in the system? That's my own pick now. It does not tell well. I'm telling you, when we want to share, they will not tell you who they share money. That's what they ask. The old women will ask, the old men will ask. The people on election day that don't ask you for money, if you have 100 voters, are not to 11. You don't convince them. They hold their newspaper sitting for INEC to come. They are not to 11. They will hold their newspaper. Don't hear them. Don't canvass them. Why the rest 80-something people you see on the other side is that Asuu come, and if you come, you can tell us how what one. And you tell them, by the time you finish giving them, you see that they are so happy, they are so satisfied. The finish one will start drinking beer, buying cigar, happy, just for 48 hours. For another 4-8 years. You are happy for 48 hours. Somebody has taken your destiny for another 4-8 years. Then you tell me, these people understand that they are in pain and agony. No, now. If you use that type of movement, quiet, to say, don't say, that's why I was laughing. Somebody was saying, we know the share shishi. That the hatred, I just hated that. Because what you are saying is myopic. Why will you tell me that? And in a few days, you flagged off at Sakomba Road. A guy came and said, they gave me 3,000. See the month and they gave me. I said, but they say on the share shishi now. They say, Pala will say they tell people. So it's already a failed system coming.
Okay, we'll come back to that one. Let me, because we are almost out of time, let me quickly take my brother on this. So, going forward, you being in the system, what would you advise both the politicians, both the Asuu, both the students on the way forward? We've talked about the challenges, we've talked about the problems, we've identified the issues. Now, what are the solutions? Let's quickly talk about that.
Thank you very much. I believe problems identified is very, very easy to provide solutions to those problems. First, I believe we must begin to hold our government accountable, especially in budget formulation. Because what is not captured in the budget, it is very, very difficult for that particular subject matter to be implemented. Let's hold our government responsible. Education must be given a greater priority in our budget. Even if we cannot meet up with the UNESCO recommendation of 15% to 20%, as the case may be. But let us see how Nigerian government can meet up with at least 17% or 18%, as the case may be. Let them declare a state of emergency in the educational sector. And once the issue of education is taken care of, every other things will fall in place, as the case may be. Quickly, sir, I don't want to digress. I believe the issues that is surrounding this educational sector, especially Asuu, at a time I felt the Asuu members were too relaxed. Because when the students came out to protest repeatedly, they were at home, comfortably. Maybe they thought maybe the government would pay them, as the case may be. Some of our parents were saying, why are people blocking the road? Is this one the problem of Nigeria? The market women were complaining. What are people doing? People are constituting nuisance. Unknowing to them that this thing is going to affect everybody. There's going to be an economic hardship on everybody. Because the world in a whole is cyclical in nature. It will revolve around. Yes, as the case may be. So I thought when we came out, we continue to come out to agitate for our lecturers to go back to school, for our students to go back to their classes. We were expecting a very support from all relevant stakeholders. The students were left alone to continue to struggle, and this is where we are today. I want to advise, the issue of education is not particularly affecting the student alone. It is affecting the country as a whole. We are complaining about bad leadership. Once our educational sector is being fixed, the problem of bad leadership will begin to set in. Because it is this school, different campuses, colleges of education, polytechnic, universities, that you teach and mentor emerging leaders. And when you begin to mentor emerging leaders, you begin to see leaders that will not reject money in the election grant, as the case will be. But once these things are not taken care of, we are going to be facing what we call a reoccurring decimal. The system is going to be going back and forth, as the case will be. So our government should meet up with the UNESCO recommendation and finance our education, as the case may be. I believe with that, we'll begin to see headway.
Thank you very much. Comrade Sam, what would be your advice to the government, to Asuu, to the students, and to every relevant authority that is involved with this Asuu strike that has lingered on since February of 2022?
Yeah, thank you so much. To me, Asuu can win in the call of the strike.
Even without being paid?
Yes, they can win. You also aware somebody, a lecturer, came to school in Auchi, told the students, when people are ready, come and call me. Let me relax in the car. And when the students were ready, they came in the car, the lecturer was dead. Stone dead. It goes to show high blood pressure. If that lecturer was busy doing something, high blood pressure will not come. If the other lecturer that committed suicide was busy doing something, because even if you don't, you can sell something, you can, so they can win. That is why after doing that, let them go and lecture the student. Forget about mass. Lecture them 2023 election. If you want us to continue, you to enjoy life, me to enjoy life, my sister, don't pay me money for blocking. Go and vote rightly. My brother, don't pay me money for blocking. Go and vote rightly. If you lecture and mentor these people, as in pay the sacrifice, just pay the sacrifice to say you can do it. Because the number of Asuu members and students is at least 20-30% of the election results. 20-30%. So it's operation, if they lecture well and the other person acts, we can go to 40%. So staying at home will worsen the situation because there's hunger in part A, hunger in part B. The politicians now will not have chance to come in because the home is not settled. To see how they cannot say, okay, the highest bidder. But if they decide to say, okay, this place, let's just remain in this state. Don't worry, we can drink water. Let's make garri together. Let's start our farm. Let's just do it. Just pretend, because if we also make mistake in February, we are also going again to spend another 8 years wallowing. So let's just swallow the bitter pill to say, okay, I see things getting right if we really decide to do things right. If we decide to say, Fares, I know, let's try to Olugbo. And I'm able to convince you. My brother, we can try to worry, not even knowing, we pass Olugbo. Conviction. So you can, the lecturer that imparted me engineers, that taught me the basic of structural engineering, if they also taught me to say, this is what you can do, this is what you can do, also I will do it. So, no, vote where 2023 election is coming. No. That is even the best place to do campaign now. Because they started and they said we should not go to church. We should not go to the mosque. They will not stop us to come to the school. Where the students on their own with their Luther bomb and a Luther jet to say no. Because maybe they can close the school down a day or two too, as the case may be, just because they want to use the lecturers and school. Then you move from your place of study to change this. It can be possible. But our leaders, they are so, because they understand the system to say, let It's 2023 election now. If Hungary beat these people from February to February next year, that's 1 year. If they see 50,000, we cannot reject it. So let the hunger continue. But if you are being to say, if I stayed 7 months, what is about 5? Let me just do it. Or no, keep your money, sir. If tomorrow Asuu calls off the strike, the federal government will be ashamed of themselves because now you are going to use these lecturers. So are you not going to convince them? That's the thing. With their pen and biro, what they see is what they are going to write. Because you are saying, you pay me, why are you not telling me to change it? Okay, I don't need to change. I'm not changing this figure, we must get it right. The student now that is coming, maybe you are come now, Maurice come, come collect 3,000. No, Oga, no, you are not paying me now, you are not paying us. When I pay Oga, will they come vote right? The politician will be ashamed. And you see everything working in tandem to the right place. So if we start to stay at home without keeping quiet to say, we'll see we bend. The leaders are not ready to bend because they are not on strike. They are paying them. They are being paid. You can see just a few days ago, the president increased the allowances of the politicians. People are clamoring for money. He increased. So that's to tell you, that implement is operation go and deliver. So they are already bringing money, and you are there to say, no, we are going to fight to finish, fight to finish. The person you are fighting does not even listen. Somebody can tell you that, you are telling me, somebody is there, I don't know, IG, I never knew IG, he doesn't even know what is happening. That is the man you are protesting for. He doesn't even know how to strike. He gave 2 weeks ultimatum to the Minister of Education, and I think it's over 2 months. Let you ask his I was the one that told you that. So, if you already understand the system that this thing can work, as academia, come back to the drawing board. The things you know better how to do, which is, let's change the narrative. Come, you, that is a human being. I'm sure you are going to be the one to read the state election. You must not fail. You that is in Asuu, I'm sure you are going to read Delta result. You must not fail. Even if it's party DDD that wins, make sure you do it. Put your life at risk. If people like Professor Iyayi, senior comrade, died on this Asuu struggle on his way to Abuja, those people, they sacrifice their life. So you can also do things, not where strike, because the strike is no longer enjoyable.
We're out of time. So your final thoughts on this issue, just for 1 minute.
Thank you very much. I believe I want to appeal to the Asuu. I want to join voices with my very senior leader. The strike should be called off. Let students go back to campuses. Let's see how we can collectively fight against our oppressors.
The government is saying that they're not going to pay us for the backlog of work.
Let students come back to campuses. Let's join forces together and fight our oppressors. I believe that's my take. The sacrifice should be made. Because our own interest as student union leaders is for our students to come back to campuses. That does not mean we must not advocate for their salaries to be paid.
Thank you, comrade.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Unfortunately, this is where we call it a wrap for today. We'll be back here on Wednesday with another exciting topic and exciting guests. Please do well to follow our YouTube channel. Click on the notifications so that you get our video first time. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Bye-bye.